task was energy and effort.
I thought there was so much love about that performance.
Ooh, that is perfect. My then girlfriend, now fiance, got me this. I think. Hope. So when I came back from my off season and joined back in with the team, there were a couple of things that took me, not by surprise, but I was impressed by. The first thing was the energy and vibe of the group. There was a great feeling amongst the group, and the guys I would speak to about what's been going on and what's been happening, they all had really, really positive things to say, and they were really looking forward to us coming back and everyone being together. The second thing was just how fresh and exciting it feels, and it was, you know, a great environment for myself and the other internationals to get stuck into.
Let's all sing like the birdies sing, tweet, 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 tweet.
Certainly since I've been at the club, the whole ethos of what we want to do has got to be bigger than the rugby. It's about relationships, it's about connecting, and I think that we've got absolutely the right people to be able to lead that. There is a lot of new, but there's a lot of old as well in terms of understanding and being able to teach people what Saracens is about, how you get respect for the group, what it takes to get the most out of yourselves. I suppose one of the things that I'm really passionate about is empowering people. If they care about what they're doing, if they care about each other, they're going to give more. All members of staff, when you come to Saracens and players, one of the things that jumps out is what are you going to be about? You have to decide, for me, whether you want your day-to-day experience to be more than just rugby. I suppose I see that for what I would want my kids to have. I want them to go to an environment where I know people are gonna try and make my kids the best that they can possibly be. Second of all, I want them to be happy. I want them to go to a place where they want to go to work every day. And lastly, how I love the way the club is you got to care. The relationships have to be at the forefront of everything, because that's the thing that people will remember when it's all over. That is how you made them feel, how you helped them in the hard times as well as the good. I want them to walk away saying that it was the happiest part of their lives. And when I look at that and I look at the staff that we have at Saracens, I think that's what's in their skin. I think they want those things, and it's the job of the coaches and the performance staff and the medics to make sure that the day-to-day experience is great.
Great start, let's go!
My relationship with Sarries probably started when I was a supporter as a kid. I remember going and watching my first game actually at Vicarage Road against Gloucester, and I think from then I just knew that's where I wanted to be on that pitch. My dad actually was an avid Wasps supporter, so he wasn't a big fan of the idea, but no, I was always a local boy. My best mates had like a season ticket. He always brought me, and from there sort of never looked back. Like, been in love with the club since I was like a little boy.
That was first year.
When I thought I could make it into sort of the Sarries group was sort of when I got into the academy. I actually did the Max Malin's arc, so I started playing fly half as a kid, and then as soon as I signed, moved from fly half to 12, and then after my first year from 12 to 15, and then in the under 26 Nations first game on the wing, I must have done all right, because they were like, yeah, we're going to play you here now. So transitioned from fly half to further away out, but yeah, I mean, it's all worked out well in the end.
When you start playing for a Premiership team like Saracens, whatever position it is, it's going to be daunting. I think one of the things that we've loved as a group about Tobias is that he's got that experience of playing in the 10, the 12 and the 15, and it's our job to nurture him to understand that having a skill set that not many wingers have along with real pace, like jet pace. It makes him pretty unique. When he can embrace that kind of knowledge, adding to the fact that he's an out-and-out try scorer, I think Tobias has got a brilliant future.
I think over the last year, when I've really sort of adopted myself to that role on the wing, I've actually found loads of enjoyment in it, sort of buying into it. I was quite hesitant to go on the wing at first, just because I'd never played there before, and it felt like quite a late change. But after speaking to some of the coaches like Joe Shaw, he helped me quite a lot in sort of making that decision. James Tyrrell, who's a big supporter from when I was young, he said on the wing I think you can really stand out and sort of make it your own. I genuinely believe that his best interest was in sort of my career. So when he said, I really think you can do well in this position, I sort of, trusted him, and obviously made a pretty good call. Yeah, the conversation with Shawsy started actually when I was under 18s, and from then I knew sort of the tone he was going to set for me as a player. I've been working a lot more closely with Shawsy this year, and he's been really helpful. He's given me all the confidence I need just to be free when I'm playing games and not worry about sort of mistakes, but just go and enjoy.
Obviously Tobias has been a part of Saracens for a while. He's been in the senior academy for a while, and I've known him for a couple of years as a result. But I reckon it was really last year where I watched him in training and watched him cut us up and watch him beat some of the first team wingers, and you start to think, oh, this guy is a little bit different. This guy has got something about him. Then, you hear report. I think he was on loan at Ampthill last year. You hear reports about him dominating and him playing really well. I remember JT and Mike Heinard just telling me, oh, this kid's ready. This kid's ready. Like, he's ready to go.
Playing at Ampthill was probably the reason sort of why I had so much confidence going into pre-season this year. I think played about 17 games last year, and every game had started off a bit low on confidence, didn't really do what I thought I needed to do in the game. But from the backings of people like JT and the other boys, like, it's that sort of experience that sort of led me to like now being able to practice somewhere I needed to get better. Try. I remember really strongly actually after the Franklin Gardens game. One thing that really stuck with me is Joe Shaw came up after the game, was like, next year's a big year for you. So that gave me all the motivation I needed in off-season.
After we lost to Northampton, I remember going to him and saying, this is your opportunity now to come back. You're in great form. Come back fit. Come back ready to go. Come back to make an impact on people. And from that first week, he has made an impression on everybody, and we're seeing a player now really thrive on all that effort that he's already put in.
Before we left last year, when the season ended, we had a meeting with a few of the coaches like JT, Kev Barrett, and we sort of said what we're going to go after sort of off-season and pre-season. I feel like to find that way into the team, I needed to get an upper hand somehow. So something as simple as getting your fitness up, being stronger, getting your fundamentals right, for me, that was something I could always take to get that edge.
The decisions that he's making in his life, what I'm seeing from Tobias is someone that is grown and been really professional. And I think if you've got someone like that takes on board all the different bits of gold and seriously appreciates it, then you've got a real opportunity of growing. I think you only find out the true test of a group when you go through hard times and when you're challenged. And when you get to the first game of the season, like our Gloucester week, you have to be extremely confident in the work that you've done. You don't know what people are doing at other clubs. You don't know what their pre-season's been like, but you do have control and you do have a deep understanding of where you are.
Well, I think the club was definitely ready. I wouldn't have minded maybe an extra week or two in pre-season. I think we were incredibly excited. There was perhaps a little bit of the unknown, how things gonna look. This was the first time that certain combinations would have played together, the first time that this new Saracens team would have been on this journey. I guess it's our opportunity as a squad to try and live the values and live the actions that this team want to embody and represent.
I'd say mentally it's been the toughest thing for me, actually. Like, I remember that first week in Gloucester week, I had this big sort of fear of not wanting to let the team down, but having that ability to have the chat with some of the coaches and the players sort of settled my nerves a lot and just helped me realise that it's actually just enjoy it. I remember I was at breakfast, Smalley told me yeah, you'll be starting on the wing. I just remember feeling really chuffed and like everything you worked towards was there. He was like, you're more than good enough, you're not going to let the team down, you're ready for this sort of thing. I just remember coming out of that conversation feeling like 10 times better, knowing that yeah, the coaches support me, the team back me, so that's basically all I needed to hear. Pretty much left the conversation, went upstairs to take my parents. I think they were more excited than me about it, but yeah, I just remember feeling like all that work sort of paid off.
As a club, as a team, what we wanted to do was have a team that supports one another, have a team that works unbelievably hard and just fights for one another. Sometimes in rugby, the things that require no talent or skill are actually the most important things. So what we wanted was to have a typical Saracens performance in terms of energy, in terms of bounce, in terms of working hard, defending hard, how relentless we could be in that pursuit. Fellas, your first involvement, whatever that is, let's set the tone. Whether we're going to catch off this kick-off, we're going to carry. Whoever catches, whoever carries, we're going to set the tone. If it's the ruck, set the tone.
I remember going out onto that pitch, just with walking out for the team, really taking it all in. Like, I mean, I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life now. And I had a little chat with Maro beforehand. He comes up to us and says, "Oh, let's go now, like we're good." And for me, he didn't need to do that, but for him coming over to saying that, it just gave me that extra boost I needed, knowing that I felt like I was really part of that team then and able to express myself on that pitch.
I don't need to tell Tobias about how to beat people. I don't need to tell Tobias about how to get up in the air, and I don't need to tell Tobias how to sidestep people, even though I haven't got a bad one, I haven't got a bad sidestep. But what I can help him with is, I guess, him feeling more comfortable in the environment. Because I remember when I was 20, 21, whatever, and playing in a team full of older internationals or older, more experienced Saracens players, and they played a role in making me feel really comfortable within the team. I think now it's my role to do that.
I think when you watch Maro in the early days, he was always this force of absolute encouragement. And now he's the captain of the team. You can see him do it maybe slightly more subtly. If somebody does something well, the positive reinforcement is great. I think when you see young players listening to that and thriving off it, you understand what a really good leader we've got.
Those little things, conversations like Maro has with me, Goody has with me, sort of people like that, they mean the world. They help you feel like you're doing something right and you're helping the team out and you're doing your job. This confidence boost you need sort of early on, I believe, to be able to go out and express yourself and not be sort of within yourself, not in your shell. Definitely something that's helped me with all the good this season so far.
Penalty advantage offside.
Tobias Elliott, the right wing, is on his own on this side, and Daly finds him. Elliott now has a little bit of work to do, but how well he did it. Oh! Well, I won't tell you all about that finish. I'll let somebody better qualified chat about it. Chris Ashton.
I wish my first Premiership try was that good.
Time's up. Saracens can warm the coach up. They're heading home with the win.
One of my big motivations and drivers for playing rugby is that moment after you get a win, especially a big win, and you look around, you see the faces in the changing room, and they're the moments that are, so precious.
Before, all week we've spoken about supporting each other, all week we spoke about backing each other up, all week we spoke about when mistakes happen, how tight we become, and fellas, we had all of that in abundance today. In terms of the core fundamentals of who we are and what we want to be, fantastic, fellas. So on that note, Tobias in the middle.
From what I remember after that game in Gloucester, it was sort of a bit surreal, because I remember as a kid thinking, oh, how good it would be to score for Sarries. actually helping them get a win. And for me, for that to happen, kind of all sunk in, I was like, oh wow, that just kind of happened, sort of thing. And being in the middle of the Tiki Tonga, I didn't really know what to say about it. I was pretty speechless at the time.
The feeling after, I've got to say, it's especially as a coach, because you build it up like the players do all week, but then you've got nowhere to put that energy during the game. What you can be a part of and enjoy is when you get into the changing room. And a lot of the time, I've got to say, for me, it's relief and joy. It's not just happiness. I'm relieved and I'm exhausted, but they're my favourite days. Go into somebody else's environment, the memories that you make with the people that you care about. It's something that I'll never take for granted. And this group, when you looked around and you saw them singing the Tiki Tiki Tonga with lots of new faces, it felt like a real special group.
If I would say what are the differences to, I guess, now and my position last year, you probably are asked for your opinion a bit more. Perhaps a little bit changes how some of your teammates see you. With captaincy, perhaps there's a little bit more talking that you have to do.
One of the first conversations where I sat down with Maro and we spoke about how it was going to be. He was very clear. He was very clear on what he wanted it to look like. He was very clear on how mine and his relationship was going to be, and he wants this group to be the most collective, supportive group that there's ever been, and that's absolutely the way I feel as well, because if we're like that, we are going to be able to deal with anything.
So Shawsy was my academy coach at the club. Yeah, it only kind of just dawned on me that our journeys has kind of been intertwined in such a way. Shawsy's a very personable guy, he's a very fun guy to be around. And we've also bonded a lot. He's offered me a whole load of advice.
It's just a relationship which is built on a really, really strong friendship. Some things that haven't changed is he still rings me regularly to ask for fashion advice and also to see if I can lend him £10, which, you know, now he's captain, I'd hope that would stop.
He doesn't realise he does this, but he has a lot of dad jokes which aren't really too funny, but you know, you laugh with him just to make him happy. One thing about Shawsy is I know he cares. You know, he has a deep level of care. When he's old and wrinkled, I will still connect with him, and you know, we'll be a presence in each other's lives.
It is unique and it is special, and I care about him a great deal, and I think this part of his journey he's ready for. And how he's started that journey as the captain has really inspired me. One of the key things that you have in the relationship between the captain and the head coach is you've got to have lots and lots of conversations. And what is really good for Maro and myself is the other leaders that Maro has surrounded himself with.
I guess I'm captain, but this is not a role that one does by themselves. We have brilliant leaders in our team. The best teams and the most effective leadership is where loads of people feels invested in the outcome and the result. So, you know, I want to rely on these talented players and talented individuals so that, you know, we as a collective can get the best out of the team.
If everybody's on board to go in a certain direction, he backs them, and I think that's a real sign of a good leader, somebody that's prepared to trust in the people around him, trust in people that he knows can lead the team, the organisation. And when you watch him, you see that he doesn't always be the most vocal person. He lets the people that he's trusted around him be the spokesman, be the person that is taking the lead on things. And that is a real good sign of a club, when the responsibility is spread. And I think that's the same with the coaches and the coaches' relationship with the captain and the leaders in the team as well. The second game against Sale was obviously always going to be special. There was just this excitement all week training, there was smiles on faces. We weren't getting carried away with what we'd done, but we knew that there was business to be done at the weekend.
No, that Sale week was a big week because Sale, they beat us home and away last year. We knew as a collective that it wasn't going to be an easy game. We knew it was going to be a tough game. We knew that we had to improve and take one step forward from where we were against Gloucester.
So our energy is going to be consistent throughout this game. If we make a mistake, it doesn't matter. If it's a positive, it doesn't matter. Keep feeding this circle. Keep feeding this circle. Fellas, all I ask for is energy and effort. That's all we need. Energy and effort. It starts with receiving kickoff, it starts from there.
There's no real script to delivering messages. I think you try and follow some principles, but rugby is a game of emotion, and sometimes you want to let that run. I think you have to deliver message in ways that are authentic to you. You know, I'm not a swearer, for example, so if I was, you know, effing and blinding and all that kind of stuff, people probably look at me like, what's this guy doing? Running out as captain at StoneX was a very, very special time for myself. I guess Saracens is my boyhood club, local club. When I was in primary school, I used to have PE lessons on Bramley Road, which is not too far from where I live. I'm not a very good swimmer, believe it or not, but I used to have swimming lessons in Copthall. I live in North London, in and around Saracens, so I've always been in and around Saracens, even before I had a strong idea of what rugby was and the concepts of rugby, or even before I had an idea that I wanted to even play rugby. So for me to get to that moment was obviously very special. It was even more important that we got the win, but no doubt it was a very special moment for myself.
The biggest thing I remember from that game, running out at home, was I remember being on the other side of that so much, whereas watching it the last few years, watching it as a kid, thinking that would be cool one day. And to be able to do it for me was, yeah, with all the flares, the fans, the music, running out, it was, yeah, really, really special. I'm really fortunate to have the parents that I do. They're super supportive, they come to every game. I definitely don't think I'd be in the position I am today sort of without them. My siblings as well were there, that was really nice to have. I had quite a few mates there as well, people I've grown up with.
To win games of rugby at this level, it requires tough work. It requires, you know, periods of the game where it's quite close and there's not as much space as you would like, and you're probably not getting on or as much of an ascendancy as you would like. You know, the first half was a very tactical game, a lot of kicking, a lot of chasing, a lot of, you know, some tough collisions, but all that work was, I guess, the prelude to what happened in the second half.
For us to front up and perform the way that we did was really pleasing, and I stayed out and watched the lads go round and see the fans, and watching new players understand what it's like not to play against Saracens, but to wear Saracens shirt and to understand what it means to have this club in your veins and in your skin finally, rather than coming against it, was great.
One thing I have felt different this year, not to say that I've never felt it before, but maybe it's the age profile of the squad. I get like a little bit of a pastoral care a bit for some of the younger guys in the team. I guess given my position now, I really want them to do well, and I think I'm taking a greater satisfaction out of seeing guys like Tobias go out there and dominate and play like a 10-year veteran. I'm taking a lot more pleasure out of those kind of situations than I did previously.
One thing from me, boys, just want to say that unbelievable second half. Firstly, well done. great win. But what I loved about it, boys, is we could see the difference between first half and second half in terms of kicking, same plan. Second half we made it work, we brought that plan to life, and that was absolutely brilliant. The way everyone listened, reacted after our halftime talk, boys, that's unbelievable. That's the only thing we can keep on doing and keep on building on. Boys, if we keep on learning, if we keep on adapting, boys, we'll be a force to be reckoned with.
So, at the start of pre-season, it was the beginning of how we were going to be. When it comes to training and playing, it will always be about how we make each other feel, and how you feel will be the difference between our training being here and going to there, and our playing being here and going to there, and the consistency. And I've got to say, when we watched the game, I think we all felt inspired by it, because there was just this spirit. It's bigger than the players, it's the coaches, it's all of the people in the organisation, because this is what it is now. This is how we want to live our lives. This is how we want to be.
Every club needs a Shawsy. You need that man who's going to motivate you to go into that weekend, that person who's also a sound mind as well, and who wants the best for everyone. I think the way he grips people is almost second to none.
Shawsy is a man of passion. He's very eloquent. Sometimes as players you can take for granted standing up in front of a room full of people with 50, 60 eyeballs on you, and you deliver a message, and the coaches at times make it look very, very easy, and Shawsy is very good at that in particular. As players, you want your coaches to have the tactical nous and the rugby IQ to help you deliver on the field, but you also want your coaches to care about you. You want them to feel a sense of investment in what you're doing and what the team is trying to achieve, and without a shadow of a doubt, Shawsy has that.
I just try and be myself, really, and I care. I'm a Saracen. Like I bleed it, and I want that to come across. For what I really love, to love what we do and it all to be together, I want that to come across in meetings. And of course, you can't do that every week, but knowing that you're a part of something that you care about day to day, and that you spend a majority of your time and your life with this group, with this organisation, it means a lot to me that comes out in when I'm talking to people. I watched in different departments what was going on, and what I was listening for and looking out for was, what were those individuals leaving that conversation with? Now, there's a couple of things, because I tell you, most of them were inspired. My point is here, lads and ladies, is this is a superpower, not for just on the pitch. Superpowers on the pitch, our way is how we're going to be. The superpower is how we make each other feel all the time.
Being able to work with Shawsy's sort of given a lot of perspective on what it means to be a rugby player, and especially a Saracen. For me, it's being willing to do the things that you don't get praised for, but those things I take pride in and I really enjoy, because I know at the end of the day they're helping, making the job easier for someone else, or helping the team in some other way. And having that mindset and everyone else having that mindset means that if one person does make a mistake, it's no problem, because someone else will be doing something like that.
I think Tobias is somebody who, as going forward, epitomises TS-PDS. Playing on the wing in some of our systems is tough. What we ask wingers to do in this environment isn't easy, and for him to keep wanting to learn, having this hunger to understand the integral bits of how you make a Saracens winger, has been great to see.
Whenever coaches or a senior player has something to say to me, I always take it on, because I know for me at the end of the day that in the long run it's going to help me, not all the praise and whatnot. So for me it's always finding that next thing to get after.
I would say in the future he has got the opportunity to become a really, really rounded winger, and we're extremely excited about that. However, it's going to take some time, and he knows as well as us with his honest conversations, there's going to be some tough times as well. But as long as he keeps working them out, as long as he keeps sitting with the coaches, as long as he keeps endeavouring to pursue getting better and better, which we all believe he can do and believe that's his mentality, then in a couple of years I think we're going to see a player get better and better.
I think the best thing for me is that people have just carry on enjoying it. I think that's the biggest thing you can do in your rugby career, because if you're not enjoying it, what's the point, sort of thing. So for me, I've loved these last couple of months. My dad's always been sort of my stabiliser in my career as well, so the main message he's been saying to me is you've got to stay grounded now. It's great, but now there's a lot ahead and you've just got to be in the present now, stay grounded, which I couldn't agree with more.
One, play! Let's go! Let's go! 1, 2, 3, squeeze! And squeeze!
Let's get it. One thing, boys, today. We're shocking them today, boys, yeah? We fight for every inch today, yeah? Attack Andy. Happy, boys. Everything together. Come on. Everything together, boys.
Yeah, I knew going into that Exeter game there was a little bit of press beforehand. I mean, when you first get it for the first time, it's really hard not to see it. For me, that game was all about, right, what can I do now to help the team? A lot more clear-minded, relaxed, sort of like ready to play my own game and do what the team needed me to do.
So when you're not playing, in my position, what I try and do is still have a positive influence on the guys around me. It also gives you a chance to enjoy the talent and, you know, be happy for other people who are getting that opportunity to play. And I guess they have that platform to show what they can do.
I suppose the thing that was really pleasing for me, it was not necessarily just the result. Of course that put us in a decent place in the league, but it was just the consistency of the actions and how we'd gone about the week. I have to say there were a couple of wow moments in the Exeter game, certainly when Tobias got the ball on the wing and beat somebody and went in. You know, there's times where you go, whew, that's pretty special.
I thought there was so much love about that performance. Minute 75, 78, boys, we were flying off the line, not giving them anything. I loved how we were disciplined in making good decisions, no matter what the circumstances were. Boys, I thought that showed real character of this team. What I loved is how our energy, how we were infectious, how we kept on driving each other. We just kept on going and we loved every second of it.
Of course, the start of the season has been brilliant, but I think we all know, and we've all been around long enough to know that that's not going to be the story of the whole season. Of course, we want to go into every week, have brilliant weeks, win all the games, and be there at the end of the year. But that's just not. It's just not the way it is. And we've got to ride the good, with also the bit where we've got to get better. And what I have really enjoyed about the leaders in the team, that day in, day out, they are pushing to get better, and they're doing it in a real nurturing way. They're doing it in a way where, whether you're the youngest member of the squad or the oldest, that you actually are really balanced in what this week's going to need, because lots of things are going to happen, bigger things than just a result. People are going to get injured, people aren't going to get selected occasionally, and getting around each other and making sure that we're strong as a group, that we can get into the next week and we can deal with everything.
What I noticed, particularly after the Sale game, but more so after the Exeter game, was that the team is starting to believe in what we're trying to do. And I think belief is such a powerful thing. Without belief, you know, you're not going to win anything. And when you see your actions being rewarded with either good performances and wins. You start to, okay, yeah, what we're doing makes sense. What we're doing, there's a bit of foundation and logic to our plan and how we're doing things. And it was almost a sense of vindication of the hard work and preparation that the boys, the squad, the coaches have done.
I think what we want to get out week to week is that our best performance doesn't look that much different to our worst performance. And if we can get that kind of consistency and trust in our squad and trust the boys come in at different times, whether we get the result or we don't, you know, we'll be in a place where we can just keep moving forward throughout this season. And that for me is a strong, healthy place for a team to be.